Hello, Claudia, and welcome back to Wild, Wise and Curious.
Hello, thank you for having me back.
It's very exciting. So, I checked, it was September last year that we
Mm.
last spoke to you. So, I
Wow.
mean, feels like a long time ago.
It really seems like a long time
Yeah,
ago.
yeah, yeah. So, lots has happened since then.
Yes.
So, what we'll do is a little bit of a recap of what we talked about. I mean, it's a long time ago. We've both slept since then. We've all slept since then. But we were basically talking, and hopefully, what this might do is get people to go back and listen to the first episode because it was a brilliant
Yes.
episode.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed
Yeah.
it. But really, we were talking at that point about where you were with your perimenopause, and we were talking about anxiety and how that had kind of manifested for you. And also we talked a bit about your business, and you kind of had a bit of a pivot, and you were starting to move into well, you were in holistics, weren't you? You were doing a little bit more about that. So we kind of want to do a little bit of a catch up, really, about what you've been doing since we spoke to you since September.
Yes. It feels like loads.
Okay.
I think because I from about July, August last year, I think that's when I kind of had that real shift moment of going, actually, this is what I want to do. This is more who I want to be. And I think before that, I'd kind of been trying to force myself into being this person that looked a certain way, and all of this kind of, I am an organizational consultant who does this, but then there was this other part of me going, but I do this stuff and I really like it, and they were really separate. And then around July, August time, I think I sort of had a bit of a weird epiphany moment of actually I kind of want to mix all this stuff somehow, but I don't know how. So yeah, it's been like a real evolving process of the past, I think, what's that, like 8 months, isn't it? And just for me getting so much more confident in myself and my offering, and that I am someone who can offer lots of things and that's okay. And I think that's been the biggest piece for me to kind of really embrace, because I do a bit of loads and I enjoy doing a bit, but actually they've all got a common theme. It's just I do them differently in different areas. So I think that's kind of been my work of the past 8 months, is just getting so much more confident around that. And yeah, just navigating life's changes as a 49-year-old woman.
So
Which,
how have the perimenopause symptoms been over this time then? Ah,
well,
question.
it's been really interesting actually, because I also recently had ADHD diagnosis confirmed, and obviously me and most of my most of my close friends and family had suspected. So it's been really interesting thinking about that with perimenopause as well, because obviously that, it's quite known that symptoms can get really exacerbated both sides with perimenopause. So I've been trying to work out, like, almost like unpick and unlink, or link, what's one, what's the other, are they the same thing? And I'm really kind of early on that journey now, because I've just had the diagnosis confirmed. And now I'm like, okay, so, now I need to start thinking about how to manage all these symptoms, because some of them are really similar, but they're sort of really linked, if that makes sense.
So you said that you and your friends had got some kind of idea that that might be the case. So how long have you had that feeling for?
Um, I think probably since the conversation's been there around, ADHD so much. Also, I I met my husband, my now husband, 6 years ago, and he works in education. And a lot of the work he does is special educational needs work. So kind of like stuff he'd said to me, and then my niece had gone, had some assessments, and I could see real similarities with her behaviours and what mine were like at her age. And then also things like just taking a real step back and looking at where I was at and everything that had happened, and these many jobs, these many interests, these career shifts, these changes, never feeling quite settled, never feeling like I fit in anywhere, always thinking I think differently to most people in the room. And, just it's weird. It's almost like the puzzle pieces start clicking into place, and then thinking about, how I was when I was younger. And, the more you become educated on it, I was following kind of ADHD coaches on things like LinkedIn and stuff, and also seeing how it presents so differently for women, and how so many women with ADHD at our sort of age get burnout because there's been so much kind of trying to manage it, trying to mask, trying to fit in, trying to cope with all of the things you're doing. So it was a little bit of everything in a way. And then, and then kind of going, yes, I think I need to think about this a bit more closely. But very much around this year of what am I doing? What do I want to do? And what's brought me here from all these different things.
Have the ADHD sort of like symptoms, had they changed like in perimenopause? Had they become sort of like more apparent, or was it just more of a fact that you kind of recognised it because of the work your husband does and all the stuff you were reading, or did you feel like things ramped up, or
Yeah, things have definitely, I think, definitely ramped up. And I think one of them is the anxiety, and focus, concentration, and and we often look at those, don't we, as signs of perimenopause or menopause,
it all gets so complex, isn't
but
it? Because they those sort of things that you've just said there, I'm like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And on the daily, do you know what I mean? It's not like it's but you do kind of put it down to perimenopause. And
yeah. And the other thing as well for me is the PMT.
okay.
And that's definitely got so much worse in perimenopause, but I've always struggled with it. And now there's a lot of, I've read some stuff around the fact that actually neurodiverse people can suffer just a lot more with hormone, dysregulation. So probably same thing when I was young, and potentially I would have been diagnosed with something else.
Yes,
I
yes.
don't know. I'm not going to self-diagnose, but my PMT has always been pretty extreme.
Yeah.
And, so just noticing that, and then it kind of balanced out. It wasn't as bad after I had my son for like quite a while. But then I've noticed that in the past few years and kind of thought, okay, is that related to perimenopause? Just this real difficulty to regulate, hormonally, my mood swings. So yeah, I think that's the stuff I've just noticed.
Yeah.
But then it is that thing, isn't it, where you don't know whether you're noticing because you're not,
Oh, yeah,
or
absolutely.
because it's got worse. I don't, you never know, do you? It's like don't look at the picture right in front of you.
Yeah, well,
All
it's
you can
like
do is
putting
look at it.
puzzle pieces
It
together,
is,
isn't
yeah,
it?
like you
And
said, yeah.
it's really difficult to put it all together and understand where it's all coming from.
It is, isn't it? Because we all get to this point in life from a different way. And we've all had so many different experiences, and then we're all kind of like thrust into this midlife woman, perimenopausal also trying to sack off the stuff we don't want and embrace the stuff we do want, and live the life we want, and eat healthy food, and make sure we exercise, and all those sorts of things. And if you've got children to look after, and older parents. And then you kind of sometimes get stuck in a bubble of like everything else, and not really thinking loads about yourself. And I guess it's only at that point when you start to go, oh, actually, okay, what is going on for me at this point in time? Because otherwise you kind of get lost, don't you, in everything else that's going on.
Yeah, because you're looking after everybody else and whatever. So it's time to look after you.
And you're just in it, aren't you? You're just in it, head down, keep going. Hope I don't break.
Yeah, sometimes, isn't it? Yeah. So how did it help, or has it helped by having the diagnosis?
I think it's definitely starting to. I mean, it was literally like 2 weeks ago.
Oh, so very recent.
Oh, so recent. But I think, I mean, I would have been surprised had it not been. I think how it's helped is a lot of it around making peace with a lot of things that, I've felt for a long time are not necessarily socially acceptable, or, just a lot of shame around things decisions, changes of direction, hurtling down one road, all the excitement, telling everybody, this is it, spending all the money, blah, blah, blah. And then, oh no, I'm not doing that now. Seeing that person 6 months later, and there's a massive amount of shame around that. And things like lots of decisions I've made over the years, financial or career ones. And also, I think there've been times where, I've hated being places, and I've tried to describe it to people, and they're like, oh, everyone's got that. Oh, no one likes working in an office. Oh, no one all of this. And I'd be like, but this is like so intense for me. And I think so, just a little bit of validation for myself. I think that's been really important. But also, there's definitely some anger around, particularly, like, as an example, I had to dig out, just because I could. I mean, they like you to dig out like old school reports and things. And the way I was described and written about, and I was like, I'm really angry on my behalf for that, because, it was all, if Claudia would just concentrate, if she would just focus, she just needs to get on with it, and then she'll be, and it's like, and I know it was a long time ago, and I do understand that, but, there's lots of things we can say that about, but this still doesn't make them okay, right? And there was no thought or empathy or oh, maybe that's a struggle for her, it's just she's being naughty, she's being difficult, and I think my whole life I've always, for lots of people, unless I'm in the right outlet space, I'm always the difficult person, or high maintenance. So I think all of that stuff, it helps with that for me, just to make a bit of peace.
It's like you want to go back and give that younger you a big cuddle and tell her it's all right, it's absolutely fine to feel like this. And I guess, like, because we're only like the school year above you, and back then, like, nothing was really recognised, was it? It was just, you just had to get on with it, and the naughty kids were naughty, or the difficult kids were difficult, or the kids that sat and glazed out the window and weren't listening to the teacher, like
that was me.
They were just, oh well, whatever, they'll probably not come to much. But it's different, I guess, now, isn't it? But at the same time, I guess we were all just expressing ourselves in the only ways we knew how to, really.
But the rage, the anger that you talk about, though, Claudia, there's that, if it had been discovered at that time, my life might have been completely different, because I would have thought
100%. There's a big lost piece that actually you have to peace with peace. But yeah, it's there's things where I think, God, if someone had harnessed that bit of me and kind of been able to, I feel like I was a bit of a, you know, floaty thing that just needed something or someone or some understanding of, no, just stick at that, but stick at it like this, and maybe it's not working for you in this way, but if you could would do it like this. But it was, oh, there's just something else she hasn't stuck at, something else she hasn't done, and it's just, yeah, there's a lot where I think, God, if I'd known and I'd known how to manage myself. I mean, when I think about how much kinder I am to myself now around how I work, and just how I let things happen, and I don't try and conform and work in a really structured, regimented way, because then I get stressed and it doesn't suit me. And, I work for a bit, I get up, I do something, I, think about something else, I start, I can have 6 projects on the go in one day, and people have always said to me, well, you can't work like that. You can't work like that. So I'm like trying to find a way to not work like that. And I'm like, I can work like that, actually. That's how I work. You can't work like that. So it's kind of that stuff as well that makes me a bit cross. The amount of times people have said, that's not how you do it. That's not how life is. Yeah, you can't.
Yeah, it is the way that you do it.
Yeah.
No, I think we're probably, I don't know, we know more about stuff these days, don't we? And we know that so many of us have different learning styles and different working styles, and different doing things styles. But yeah, back then when people said to you, well, you don't do it like that, or, you kind of took it on, didn't you? And kind of thought, oh God, I'm doing it wrong. And, well, how, I remember feeling like I couldn't do certain jobs the way other people did them, or I didn't grasp things the same as other people grasped them. And when people then turn around and say to you, oh yeah, you're not meant to do it like this, you need to do it like this, I don't know, sometimes it makes you feel a bit shitty, doesn't it?
Yeah, totally. And like as an example, so one of the things for me that's quite difficult is like processing information. And, I have to process stuff in my own way, and even like being taught rules of a game, right? So I always feel thick when I'm being taught rules of a game.
Oh my God.
And I always sit there thinking, oh, I'm the stupid one at the table because everyone else picked this up and they're playing. And even to the point of like, Uno flip in my family. And I'm always like, I forget the rules. I can't, but it's just because my brain processes differently. But it's when you think of all the micro versions of that your whole life, whereas now I literally say to people, I don't process information well, so you'll need to tell me like this, or and it's quite empowering, actually.
Yeah, but it is.
Yeah, finding a new way to kind of process the world, I guess.
Yeah, completely. And also not feel like there's something wrong with you all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I feel like I can really relate to that. And also because I've gone to uni at a late stage, I don't know what part of the things that I struggle with is because I'm going through brain fog and I've got, perimenopause, or is it because I've got a learning difference? And I never learned how to process things in a way that works for me. So I spent, most of my childhood thinking I was stupid because I can't process things. I process things differently, but I've not got a diagnosis. Maybe we.
Are you still at uni now though?
Yeah. So I went to uni late stage. So I did my my undergraduate. I did in my late 40s, and then I've just started my masters. But yeah,
so I am sorry, interrupt.
Oh, go.
But I have to get my point, and that's another one. How many people over the years in the assessment do you find you interrupt often? Yes. but that's one of the first things actually going back, because I did my law conversion course a few years
Yes,
ago,
yeah.
and I had a learning needs analysis done because I struggled so much with doing that work. Like, I could understand the work, but I couldn't do the exercises and things, and I couldn't keep up in class. And I've always been fairly high achieving academically, and I struggled, like, I mean, mentally I struggled, because I was literally like, why can't I keep up? Why has everyone finished this and I'm still reading line 2 of, this case study? And that's when it showed up my stuff, actually. And that, it was 3 different, actually quite, major learning need differences that I've obviously had my whole life. So you may find, and the thing I was going to say, if you're still there, you can get quite, you can ask for assessments.
Yeah, I've only just finished my first year, so I'm part time. So I might look.
3 years to go. I'm going to finish before I get this right. But do you find that you reread and reread? Because I'm at uni as well, and I find that some days my brain's okay and I can read stuff and it will go in. Other days I have to reread the same line over and over and over, and it still doesn't enter my brain. And I can read a few sentences and it feels like total twaddle. And especially like with the academic lingo, it's quite hard work anyway, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I have to sometimes I cannot, sometimes I can't process it. So I'll have to read, and if I feel like that, I just have to walk away from it.
Yeah.
Come back at another time where I feel like I can read it, and then at that point, depending on how I'm feeling, another day I can pick it up and I'll read it and I'll be like, oh yeah, okay, and it goes in. But sometimes I can waste hours trying to make a page of text.
Well, what I'll do though is that'll be it. I won't bother.
Leave it.
I won't bother, and then I'll be like procrastinating because I can't understand it, so I'm not even going to bother.
Yeah.
And then it becomes a whole thing.
Then I'm in the garden, then I'll have a cup of tea, then I'll put a wash load on, then I'll take the dog around the park.
But then you see, then this is where it intertwines with perimenopause, because it's the brain fog, and it's being able to retain information and also being able to access the right words
and balance all the other shit that you've got going on anyway, like picking kids up, taking people
of course,
doing the food shop, going to work. So it's complex, isn't it?
So you can see why so many women at this stage of life are being diagnosed and going through that process. Which is
completely
quite difficult, right? So the waiting list for diagnosis is bonkers.
Yeah, I mean, mine actually was quite quick, but there was this wonderful, like, ironic piece around, obviously, doing a lot of focused work and form filling and all those things are some of the most difficult things to do. And then you literally like have these massive like online forms with so much detail needed, and they start asking you about like friendships from when you were a child and give examples, and I'm literally, I mean, I had to do it in so many tranches because the irony.
Yeah.
But I was like, I cannot focus on this. It's horrendous.
Wow.
And so again, I mean, I probably got lots of things done in my house while I was supposed to be doing this.
But even like you're saying, the irony with those forms, surely they should be developed so that people can fill them in with ease, right? Because surely things should be made as easy as possible.
Well, it's a barrier. It's another barrier.
Well, it is another
barrier. Like have somebody that you can talk to, and then they can write it down for you. I don't know. Yeah, it's bonkers.
Yeah, and that's the other thing I was going to say to you. Like, I sometimes found reading academic stuff quite hard, but if you can kind of do the audio thing, so you can get like things transcribed audio.
Yeah,
that can sometimes help.
Yes, that's a really good shout, actually.
Because for me, if I'm doing something else, so if I'm like cooking and listening, that's a really good way for me to process, whereas just sitting trying to read sometimes isn't.
Yeah. And do you find that also, because this is me, and this is probably a lot of us, but if I really am excited by something and I love the thing that I'm reading, it will stick. And it's
Oh yeah.
like then the theory. So for me, I love the writing side, and I'm doing like a creative PhD at the minute. So
Oh nice.
creative stuff, I love it. I can get lost and I love it and I feel excited and I remember it all. And you send me then down the theory side talking about literature reviews and methodology and all that malarkey, and I'm just like,
Switched off.
totally. Oh yeah, not about the audio. Thanks, Lou. Switched off. It's just, yeah, it's tricky, isn't it? It's tricky.
Oh god.
The Wild, Wise and Tricky Curious podcast. Everything seems tricky, but good. It's good. It's good to kind of come to this stage. I don't know. Did you feel that you had more confidence now to sort of chase up the diagnosis, so that you could like go, oh, okay, so that's why this is all. That's why I have certain behaviours, and that's brilliant because I can play into my strengths.
Yeah, and even weirdly actually, and again, because all of this stuff means I'm not always the best at like planning how I do my work, but I sort of do, but I hold it all in my head, but I don't do it in a traditional way. So this is sort of, and this is relevant to your question, but I might forget your question because I tangent.
I'll probably do.
Okay. But I kind of, I have a plan and a formula in my head, but I don't traditionally like plan. So like the reason it's relevant is because this morning actually I woke up and randomly I was like, oh, I'm going to do a post about all my different things I do and why that works for me and why that's really good. But for so long I've held that as like quite a, when someone says, what do you do? And I'm like, quite a few things, and I'm a bit awkward about it. Whereas now I'm like really owning it. And I feel like the diagnosis has helped me do that, because I'm like, that's how my brain works. So therefore, obviously that's going to be how I work, because my brain and me working are connected. So, I need to do lots of doing, because when I look at a day, my day, the best days for me are when I've done 5 to 8 different things,
Yeah.
Bits of work, some cooking, organised a bit of life admin, done a walk, done some exercise. If I've got a bit of everything in, that's a good day for me. So that makes sense that, me working like that is a good thing for me too. So I think that's what's really helped, is kind of almost like underpin it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, it's stuff I knew. It's a bit like when you've got theory and then someone releases some scientific evidence on it, and you're like, like for me, like with Reiki, I'm like, there's a bit of science, everyone. I shouldn't have to use the bit of science that I've got, because, we know it works. Anecdotally, we know it works. I've got many testimonials. You can look it up, but you get that one bit, don't you? And it's like everyone goes, oh, it's true then.
It's the credibility.
Yeah.
Credibility. It's a pesky bloody word.
Yeah. On the theory route, right? And I guess in a way that's, I've had years when people have gone, but where's your evidence? Where's your evidence? Whatever work I've done. And I was like, oh, but it just works. Just trust me. And I've learned over time I have to have the evidence as well, because people need it, and that's fair. But yeah, so I guess in a way that's what this has done, it's my credibility. It's I work like this. This is why. And it's okay. And it still means I'm good at what I do.
And actually, though, you can, because of it, you can lean into all those different modalities of things that you've done,
right?
And bring an even more holistic view to a person that you're serving at that point. And actually, that's quite magical, right?
Exactly. If you shift it, for me, I've done a lot of things, but I've learned the skill.
Yeah.
I've, and that's another thing with like the ADHD brain. It's like master it super quick, get the qualification, learn the theory, do everything. So actually, I'm really well informed because, from this to this to this, I've got all of these different skills. And that's what I love when I'm doing coaching work with people, that I bring all this different stuff in, and I don't have a specialism. I don't have a set framework. I have I'm good at helping you untangle what's going on for you. And depending on who you are and where you're at, we'll bring, this comes in and that comes in and this works. Because I've got it all in this sort of arsenal, I guess.
But also because you're doing your own business now, and you're working in a way that works for you and in alignment with you, then that's going to help with everything else for you and your mental health and how you're working on a day-to-day basis. And like you said, bringing all those other things in, like doing a bit of baking whilst you've got a client that afternoon, or and it's managing your life. I mean, I love that. I work that way as well, and it feels like I should have been working this way for a very long time, but I wasn't.
I feel like I should be working that way too, but I'm not yet.
Yeah.
And that's another thing that makes me angry as well, because I haven't often been an employee for all reasons above. But when I have, I'm being told how to work and to sit for 8 hours a day with 2 breaks and, just do it. I'm like, but for me, that's unproductive. And I think it's unproductive for most people, but that's a whole other conversation. But and I just think that was the worst way to try and get the best out of me. And as you say, if I'm doing stuff, I'm going to be better. And if you're allowing me to work in the way that suits me, I'm going to be better. And as you say, like running a business, I think I've done a really good job in the past year, and that's including doing my life in the gaps, or taking a break because I need a break, or waking up one day and going, no, I really can't do stuff today. I don't have any clients. I'm just going to take a day, and that's okay.
Yeah.
And then the next day, also with the nice, kind of ADHD hyper focus, I'll probably produce more than one person would in 3 days in the morning, because I'm like, I think there probably just needs to be so much more of that. And I think being pushed into working how it doesn't suit you is another thing that leads to burnout, right? Because it's being forced to be in a life that's not suited to you.
So, Claudia, what sorts of things, I know we spoke about it on the podcast last time, but, just as a reminder to people, what sorts of things do you do with your clients? What sort of things do you offer?
So I do, with kind of private work, I do Reiki coaching, kind of, I guess I call it transformational coaching, just because I think I make quite a lot of change quite quickly, but it's not it's not something where I've specifically trained in, it informs that deep change. And because I've got training in kind of unconscious work and psychodynamic work and group stuff, I can kind of do that in loads of different environments. But also I'm equine coach trained, so I do coaching with horses. So I'm just doing putting together a kind of day for that at the moment. But it's interesting because it's like one thing then informs the other stuff. Like someone comes for Reiki for a headache, or really bad headaches or something, and what it's like. It's these things are always just a presenting issue, right? So quite often as the relationship develops, then the coaching work might develop from that. And then there's, with some clients, you then think, oh, actually they might really benefit from like a day with the horses. So I might suggest that. So it's, that's what I mean by I just try and really let the work evolve. And then organizational work, I've recently gone back to just some HR and culture advisory stuff, which is kind of one of my backgrounds.
Yeah.
But coming at it really differently because it's a lot more around culture. So I'm working with an employment lawyer around sort of advising on new employment law and stuff, but we're doing like a combined piece of showing how the culture and the people piece is as important as the law, and you need to bring them together. So that's been really nice too, because it's all kind of part of the same stuff. Just that's what I mean. Like I've started to realize before I was a bit like, this is my separate organizational consultancy person, and then this is my Reiki coaching person. I'm like, actually, this is me, and I just, I've got this like common theme of just, whatever that is. But yeah, like untangling and, making people's worlds better, I think, is just generally, what it is. And then I'm just I do some writing as well. That's quite new. I'm really enjoying that as a creative.
Tell us more. What's the
writing? So it's non like I've been doing non-fiction, but so one of the things I've started writing on leadership and organizational work, but very much using the unconscious and what's going on for founders, teams in their organizations. It's the stuff that we don't really, we don't really look at. So everybody kind of, it's like bring in the consultants, look at the top line, get fixed what needs fixing. But actually we don't look particularly, my real interest area is entrepreneurs and founders and founder-led businesses, because they're kind of an extension of the person quite often. So it all gets so mixed up.
Yeah.
So, I've started a little book on that. And then another one that I've started, which I'm quite enjoying as well, and this is cool brain, it's just my journey with getting from where I am now, from getting to where I am now, kind of that journey, working for myself, but also working for other people, but just almost like a little bit of a guide, I think, but just maybe it's linking in with if you've got a brain that's a bit like mine, and the whole piece around trying things the traditional way and then finding the less traditional way, or the way that works for you. Like as an example, one of the chapters I've just done is like networking, and trying to do traditional networking when you've got a brain like mine just doesn't really work.
No.
So stuff like that. And then it's kind of like I've tried to be quite light-hearted with it, but that feeling of just going and sitting in your car after the event, like that was just so horrible.
Compressing.
And then but everyone's going, you've got to network, you've got to go and do your pitch, you've got to go and do, and then so it's kind of I guess helping people who are on this similar journey to go, there's other ways. The other one for me was social media. You've got to go on social media, you've got to post 4 times a week, you've got to have this plan and this, and I was like trying to do that, and then I became fixated and then stressed, and I was waking up panicking about all my posts, and then I'm like, actually, do I have to do that? Who says I have to do that? And so, it's things like that. Just I'm trying to, maybe it's like a rebel's guide to being a self-employed entrepreneur.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Well,
so those are my 2 things at the moment.
2 things. I'm sure you said about 15.
Oh no, they're my two. You mean you think I talked about 15? Yeah, probably.
But so they're your 2 writing projects.
Yes.
Yeah.
But how exciting, because you've got the time and space.
Yes.
You've got the space to be able
Yeah.
to access what you need to be able to then write whatever you've got to write. That sounds fantastic.
It does, but you do need that headspace, don't you? I mean, I know I speak to you quite a lot. I'll come down to Lou and Lou will say to me, because at the minute I'm working, so like I work 24 hours a week, and then I'm doing my PhD, and then I've got the kids, we do the podcast, and you've got all the housey bits, and sometimes Lou will look at me and go, are you okay? And I'm like, I don't know, I don't even know what day it is.
Yeah.
But but having, if you can kind of work things out, I've worked things out a bit better this week. Things have been good. I've timetables. I've doubled down on timetable.
I've been coaching her.
I'm like, mate, I am struggling. I have all these balls in the air and I want to do all of them. I can't let any of them drop. And I need to keep doing them. I want to do more things for me. So we had a good sit down and it was like, timetable.
Brilliant.
But so I had been looking at timetables, but then when I spoke to you, it kind of made me go, do you know what? I really need to just get on it. And I've stuck to it every day since Friday.
Fabulous.
But it's hard.
Someone listen to me.
I know, I do listen to you. I do listen to you sometimes.
So Claudia, how are things going for you now? So like with the anxiety and like your the perimenopausal ADHD kind of symbiosis of symptoms, and how are you feeling in yourself at the moment?
I think I feel good, but I'm very aware that I'm totally living by my own rules at the moment, like my own decisions, my own everything we've talked about. And I've probably gone so far that way of, everything in my own, because I have the luxury as well, right? I don't have to be doing things for children, although, sometimes my 22-year-old son. But, I guess because I'm in that space where I can say, well, I'm getting up and doing this, apart from where I've got actual client things, I can choose. So I guess all of that keeps, the control and then my anxiety minimized. And I think I'm almost at that stage now where I need to start, maybe challenging myself a bit more with things, because there's been lots of things where I've gone, you don't need to do that. I'll give you permission not to do that. You don't need to do that big long drive or travel there or, whatever it is that gives me anxiety. And now I think I need to start going, maybe you need to start doing a few things.
So almost like putting yourself outside that comfort zone.
Yeah, I think I needed to get to where I'm at, but the other thing I do want to do is start looking into thinking about looking at some chemical interventions that I haven't gone down that route at all. I've done diet and exercise and supplements, but maybe thinking about whether I need some form of other help.
As in HRT or as in medication for the ADHD?
HRT, I think. I don't want to medicate for ADHD. No, I think, but definitely like some sort of hormone balancing would be helpful for everyone around me.
Okay. So then that's the next stage then in your journey on this.
Yeah.
Trying to work out what's going to help and
but I've got like a bit of a phobia for medications and things, so that's
welcome
that's
to
my challenge.
It's challenging. That's challenging. I wouldn't even have paracetamol for headaches, or I would not touch anything, and I was kind of like against it all personally, just for me. And then when I had like really bad, like the anxiety and panics when I started in perimenopause about 5 years ago, it took me about 1.5 years to work out what was actually going on. And eventually I did go on HRT, and I'm still on it now. And I feel a lot better, but then my life's totally changed as well now, and I'm doing different things. And so I'm still on it, but even that's like, it really helped me. It helped the anxiety, testosterone for me, testosterone, the estrogen and progesterone for me, didn't really help me, but I have seen on other forums that other people have been helped by having them with anxiety and stuff. It was only when I started on the testosterone that like the panics and the anxiety and stuff kind of within like a couple of months kind of really like lessened to a point where if anything ever like starts to ripple now, I can almost go, well, you can do one, and it goes.
Right,
So that the testosterone was brilliant for me for that. But yeah, it's just so tricky, isn't it? When you are that sort of a person that has never really. I had a lot of treatment as a kid because I had really bad asthma, so I was on like asthma medication. And then I kind of weaned, like I sort of, I think as a kid, I think I was about 10 or 11, and the asthma kind of stopped. And so I never really then had any medication ever again. I went on the pill for a few years, you know, when I was younger, but I didn't really want to do that. But then I was like totally against anything. So it was really hard making a decision to go on it, but I was like, I needed it at the time. So yeah, it's tricky.
Yeah, it is really hard. It's really hard to make the decision. It's really hard to know, is it going to help? It's really hard to know once you're on it, are the symptoms being helped, or have I got more different symptoms now? And it is just having to navigate it as you go through it, and also keep having the conversations with the GP. So it might feel like it's not working, then go back, or you know, it is really difficult.
It's trial and error, isn't it?
I mean, I am not on it, but I tried a few times, and then I just thought I've just binned it off because I felt like I was having more symptoms on it than I was off it.
Okay. Yeah.
But it's so individual, and you don't know until you try it for yourself.
Yeah.
And you know, it's those conversations that you have to go and have, and it does feel like a minefield, and because we're all so unique and we all bring a lot of different symptoms and
life
lifestyles
to
it. You know, it's really hard to know what is the right decision, isn't it?
It really is. And also the other thing it feels like is another whole bloody massive job.
Like
when you've got so many things going on, and then you're like, I don't want to have to. It's a big piece, and why do women always have to spend all this time managing all these different things around their body, and you know, like that seem to be really time consuming, and it's annoying, and I'm cross about it.
Yeah, and you just want to be able to get on with your life and not have to do all those things. But yeah, it's a journey.
It's tricky.
It is tricky. It is tricky has become the word, I think.
Yeah, we should be called wild, wise, and curious and tricky.
It is though, isn't it? And I think so many people feel that because we've all had different life experiences, because of the different things we're eating and putting in our bodies, because of like, you know, how our hormones, everybody's hormones are different. There's no one size fits all.
As well.
Stress levels and because we're natural nurturers a lot of the time, it's, you know, mind you, that's quite good, isn't it? When the estrogen starts to wear off and you give less of a shit about everything that you used to think about. I mean, that's good, right? That's good. Yeah.
I'm so glad you said that, because definitely my empathy levels and my nurturing pieces, definitely, I'm like, no, do it yourself.
That is one of the better side effects, isn't it?
It is, yeah, really.
Yeah, I definitely do a lot less for everybody else now.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Yeah.
And that is good. And I don't feel guilty about it. Every now and again, I'll have a little bubble that goes, and then I'll go, no, you've all had all of my life. I'm having a bit.
Yeah, you've had my soul.
I'm flying for a back.
Exactly.
I don't know. But yeah, it's a journey. That's it, really.
Indeed. Yeah. Wow, okay. Wow. I can't believe the time.
No, that went really quick.
Didn't it? Yeah. It was brilliant to catch up with you though.
Oh, it was, Claudia. Definitely was.
Definitely was. You too. Thank you for having me again.
No, it's been great again.
We'll see you again for part 3. in another year's time, and we'll see how things have changed for you and
Yes.
how you're doing. It would be really nice to catch up, actually.
Well, it would, because I think it's really good for people that are listening who are going through similar experiences as well, to kind of have those different markers of how different people are shifting through these times. So, yeah, it would be really good.
Yeah. And I mean, hopefully, yeah, if people feel like, you know, they're not quite fitting in whatever place, then that might help.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll put all your information on the episode notes as well. So if anybody does want to get in touch and have a look at your beautiful website, they can do.
They can indeed. Even just for a chat, to be honest. I'm always up for that.
Fabulous.
Wonderful.
Thank you so much, Claudia.
Thank
It's great
you.
talking to you again.
Yeah, thanks so much, Claudia. Take care.
See you again.
too.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.